So, good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this European Commission webinar on learning democracy together through eTwinning. My name is Kira, and I will be your host today. This webinar is organized by the European School Education Platform, which we invite you to take a look at your earliest convenience. My colleague Marta will post all the necessary links in the chat, and we are very happy that you are joining us this afternoon. In this webinar, we will focus on how educators can use eTwinning projects and digital tools to promote democracy, the rule of law, collaboration, and responsible digital citizenship. We will also explore how AI can support teaching while encouraging ethical and informed use in schools. And to do that, we have Rosella with us. Rosella is an experienced teacher from Sicily with extensive expertise in international education, digital innovation, and European project design. She holds a degree in foreign language and literatures and a master's in school leadership and educational management from the University of Palermo. She has been active in international education since 2005 and has coordinated Erasmus Plus projects since 2015. And was also appointed the Erasmus Plus and eTwinning ambassador for her school in Sicily in 2022. But without much further delay, Rosella, the virtual stage is all yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Kira. Okay, I share our screen so we can start. Okay. 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 So the title of this webinar is Teaching About Democracy and the Rule of Law Through eTwinning, and it is a webinar to inspire and to support teachers in using eTwinning to teach key democratic values and the rule of law through collaborative and project-based learning. As Kira said, I'm a Spanish teacher. I'm Rosa Maria Giacalone. My given name is Rosa Maria, and I'm known as Rosella. And I'm very, very delighted to share my professional journey with you. I'm a seasoned secondary school teacher specializing in Spanish language and culture at Liceo Statale Pascasino Giovanni XXIII in Marsala, in the western part of Sicily. I'm introducing myself through a video that I have created with the support of artificial intelligence, not only as a personal presentation, but also as a way to emphasize the increasing role of artificial intelligence is playing in upcoming eTwinning and Erasmus Plus initiative. So join it.
Rosella, we cannot hear the sound of the videos. If you could stop sharing and reshare with the audio function,
okay.
Then
yes, of course,
we should all be good.
Okay, sorry.
No worries.
Okay. Can you see it? Okay.
Yes. But still no sound.
No sound? Oh, sorry.
Not a problem. When you press share in the meeting, make sure that the toggle for include sound is also on.
Okay, yes. I'm trying again, but I think... Okay.
I am a Spanish teacher at Liceo Statale Pascasino in Marsala, and I hold a degree in foreign languages as well as a master's in school leadership. My journey in international education began in 2005 with the Comenius program, and since 2015, I have been actively involved as a project designer and coordinator in Erasmus+. Over the years, I have led a wide range of European projects focusing on cross-border cooperation, mobility, and intercultural exchange. As an Erasmus Plus project coordinator, I organize and lead training courses, seminars, webinars, info days, and workshops across Sicily, engaging both students and teachers in meaningful European learning experiences. I am deeply committed to promoting inclusive education, supporting the digital transition, and strengthening competence-based learning within schools. My work encourages teacher development. As an Erasmus Plus project coordinator, I organize and lead training courses, seminars, webinars, info days, and workshops across Sicily, engaging both students and teachers in meaningful European learning experiences. I am deeply committed to promoting inclusive education, supporting the digital transition, and strengthening competence-based learning within schools. My work encourages teacher development, student empowerment, and long-term European collaboration. In my professional role, I actively support the development of key competencies such as functional and multilingual literacy, scientific, mathematical, and digital skills, entrepreneurial and civic competence, cultural awareness and creative expression, digital communication and collaboration, community engagement and partnership strategies. As a teacher trainer, I facilitate capacity building among colleagues by providing guidance on European project design, strategic partnerships, and the use of co-design tools to connect schools, institutions, and communities both locally and internationally. Being part of the eTwinning and Erasmus Plus networks allows me to contribute every day to building a more connected, innovative, and inclusive European education system, one that gives every student the opportunity to thrive. Thank you for your attention.
Okay, thank you very much. As I said, I work at Liceo Statale Pascasino Giovanni XXIII. That is the leading Erasmus Plus institution for the province of Trapani in the western part of Sicily. My school is a very dynamic institution with approximately 1,300 students, and it offers different academic pathways, including Liceo Linguistico, the linguistic department, Liceo Classico, the classical department, and the new Liceo Made in Italy and Liceo Scienze Umane, the human sciences. My school is deeply committed to fostering a European identity and global awareness, and our education mission is to shape young individuals into future leaders, equipped with the skills and the values that are needed to succeed to an interconnected world. As an educator, I'm committed to promoting essential skills, including civic competence and personal, social, and learning to learn skills, using this to foster active citizenship and European collaboration. That is my school in the western part of Sicily. I want to join with you this video. What is our mission as an eTwinning and Erasmus school? It is a video that we have realized during COVID, so it's very important for us. So the heart of this experience is for us openness, because the mind is not a vessel to be filled, but a fire to be kindled, and it's very important for us. My job, our job, is not to provide answers, but to ignite a kind of fire. And to do this, the only rule is to open our mind, because happiness depends upon everything. And our job is not to provide answers, I said. So we have to think different, and I repeat this sentence in my projects, in my eTwinning projects, but also in my Erasmus projects. We have to open our mind, because Europe is not just a destination. Europe, it's a way of seeing the world, and an invitation to look at the future with the new eyes, and it's very important. So I have considered this like an inner journey, because we want to stress, we want to highlight the importance of strength, the importance of dreams that are very important for us, and then the resilience, because the Erasmus Plus experience and the eTwinning platform projects are not a vacation. For us, we generally consider I generally consider them like a transformation, because it is a journey that challenges us, and in fact the journey makes us stronger and more resilient. And I insist on this concept that is very important, the resilience. Strength is born from the ability to dream big, and we always stress this concept. We must remember, don't be afraid to dream big, because the dream, however, is not enough, and it requires commitment. Dream big, work hard, and then to make it happen. If a goal seems unattainable, we have to remember that if we can dream it, we can do it. If we fail, no problem, because the answer lies in the modern proverb that is try again, fail again, and fail better. So every misstep is like a lesson learned. In short, we have to forget the mistake, we have to remember the lesson, and by shedding doubt, we will discover that our dream is achievable. So let's move towards action, let's move towards courage, let's move towards the living of the present. Because these projects in eTwinning platforms and in Erasmus require courage, and the courage is the key to happiness. So the freedom to experiment, to choose, to act is the essence of the scholarship. So the secret of happiness, as I repeated many times in this video, is freedom. And the secret of freedom is obviously the courage. So the most precious element in Erasmus Plus projects, but even in our eTwinning projects, is the encounter that we are just seemingly ordinary people, and these ordinary people find the extraordinary in each other, and it is the union of diverse voices that enriches our path, and for us is very important. So this video is very important for me, because it is like a summary of the most important sentences, the priorities that we consider in our job. What is active citizenship? So we can speak about the topic of this webinar, because we generally consider active citizenship to active participation of individuals in the life of our communities and in our countries, because we have to stress the fact that it's about more than just voting. Active citizenship is more than just voting. It involves citizens taking part on a sense of social responsibility, and we all together, we have to contribute to society's well-being. So, as I say in this webinar, active citizens are aware of their rights and they are aware of their responsibility, because we are citizens, we are European citizens, and we don't just consume the benefits of our society, we also contribute to the improvement of our society. So we have to consider this concept that is very important, is fundamental to every democracy, and it is built on the belief that a vibrant and just society is created through a work that is a collective work, that is collective efforts of each member of this society. So we want to consider the way in which we can connect eTwinning to active citizenship. And there is a link that is very important, because this link between eTwinning and active citizenship and Erasmus and active citizenship is a powerful one. Because if we decide to work in our platform, that is a brilliant platform, it's not just about using technology. We are not just using technology, because eTwinning is a platform designed to create the conditions for students in order to become engaged and responsible members of our societies. So I repeat, and I want to stress this sentence, that eTwinning is not just using technology. So we can connect in our project some elements. First of all, fostering collaboration and problem solving, because in each eTwinning projects, our students that are from different countries, they work together, they can work together in order to solve some real world problems. They can explore, they can share experiences, they can explore common themes. for example, environment or social justice or languages, foreign languages or culture. And it is a process that teaches our students to compromise and to communicate effectively. So we have to consider that this collaboration is very important, and they can work together like a team. And work as a team, all essential skills for active citizens, because we are stressing this concept of active citizen. The second point is developing a European global perspective, because again, we want to underline this sense of collaboration. By collaborating with peers from other cultures, from other countries, students can broaden their horizons, and they can learn about different ways of life, ways of thinking too. So this helps them in order to understand and to respect diversity and a core value of both a democratic society and European citizenship. The third point that is very important is encouraging critical thinking. That is one of the most important soft skills, because many eTwinning projects and many activities in our eTwinning projects tends to involve analyzing information, discussing about different viewpoints, and creating content that are different one from another. And this helps students to develop and to increase the sense of critical thinking skills, which are very crucial for evaluating information in our area, that is a digital era, and making informed decisions as citizens. Another important point is the fact of promoting digital citizenship, because our eTwinning projects teach students how to use digital tools safely, because we have to consider security, and with responsibility. Students can learn about online ethics, copyrights, and privacy, and it is fundamental aspect of active citizenship if we consider our century, our year, with a significant portions of our public life. And then giving students a voice, because these kinds of students give the possibility to our students the fact of giving a voice, because students are often given the opportunity to take action on issues that matter to them, where it's launching a campaign, for example, about environmental protection, or they can create, for example, a video in order to raise awareness about human rights. So this empowers them, and this gives them the possibility to show that their voices can make a difference. That is very important. So we can start with the first part of this webinar, saying the why connecting eTwinning to active citizenship. First of all, because we want to create this kind of collaboration and digital competencies, which are central to eTwinning support civic education by providing practical methods for promoting key democratic values. And you will see during this webinar that there are many methods that we can use in our platform, implementing our projects, implementing our activities in this platform. Through eTwinning, educators or teachers can embed democratic values using a whole school approach, and they can encourage the participation for decision making. The platform also facilitates skill partnership, because into the platform we can search for other partners, we can search for other activities, we can share best practices, and this can promote inclusion, active citizenship, and first of all, European identity. So it's very important the fact of participating in these projects, and the fact that we can join and we can implement, increase and raise these essential skills that are very important for our students. eTwinning projects turn abstract concepts like democracy and the rule of law into practical, and I want to underline this concept: practical, hands-on experience, not only theory, not only lessons or exercises, but practical and hands-on experiences. Because by engaging students in meaningful collaborative work with their European peers, with other students of our countries, so they are not just teaching them about active citizenship, but we are helping our students become active citizens, and that is very important. So In order to integrate democratic values, we can speak about leadership commitment, we can speak about curriculum integration, and we can speak about student voice and participation. Because, for example, our schools are leaders in order to promote respect, first, participation, second, and equality. So these projects could be, and I think must be, integrated into our curriculum students. So literature, for example, literature classes that analyze Sicilian history and democracy themes, according to my school or my schools in my places, or science lessons discuss ethics in technology affecting the local community, such as like sustainable fishing, for example, that is another example, or art projects that showcase Marsala's cultural diversity and democratic ideals. So we can do many examples in order to say that we have to consider the curriculum integration of these kinds of projects. And another point is student voice and participation, because an active student council has a real influence on school rules. So, for example, we can organize monthly, like Marsala Voices Forum, that help students to debate schools and to create these community issues. Another way for integrating democratic values could be staff training and collaboration workshops about democracy, about civic engagement, about teaching methods held regularly for teachers. Or another point could be, for example, school-wide activities, for example, Democracy Week. Or if we want to celebrate local Sicilian democratic heritage, we can decide to create this community service, or some community service projects partnering with Marsala and cultural organizations, for example. Another way we generally use in my school are inclusive environment policies, fostering respect for all, and we generally include students from diverse backgrounds. And it is very important because we have to consider the safe spaces for open dialogue on sensitive topics. Or continuous reflection according regular feedback collocated via surveys, some quizzes or meetings involving students, staff, and parents, for example, and many stakeholders in the scholastic community, in which democracy practiced through shared decision-making on school projects. Again, I would like to show you another video in which you can see how we have decided to create this integration of democratic values. So I don't want to speak, so you can join the video and you can see many images of my school in which democratic values are very important for us as teachers and for our students and for my staff and for my colleagues and for my principal. So join it. Okay, that's my school. And the second part of this webinar, we can try to build, for example, some eTwinning projects step by step. And these projects are related to democracy, to citizenship, to European citizenship. Some suggestions, because I tried to create some project title suggestions. One could be, for example, democracy, building our future together. And I've created this image using artificial intelligence into Canva platform. A second project could be Citizen and Action, Voices Across Europe. Again, this image has been created in Canva platform. Or, for example, Right and Might, Young Voices for the Democracy. For example, if we are consider a school, primary school, for example. Or Vote and Voice, Fun with Democracy, another project that can be implemented in a primary school. So these are some title suggestions, but we can do everything in this platform because there are many themes we have to consider. First of all, if we want to open a twin space, so we can, first of all, we have to consider the theme, for example, citizenship and democracy. Second step, we have to consider age group. So if we are working with students from 12 to 16, so we can consider this range of students, but it could be the table. And then the number of students, I want to create a twin space and I want to select a group of 15 or 30 students per school. And then I can consider 3, 4, or 5 partner schools across Europe. And then I have to consider the duration of this project from 4 to 6 months, for example. And then I have to share some goals with my partner school with which I want to work. For example, understand core democratic values and rights, or practical digital citizenship and collaborative work, or foster intercultural dialogue and cooperation with the others, or develop critical thinking and debate skills. So I can decide. If I don't know how to create a twin space, just a very run example on how to set up the project on a twinning platform. First step, I have to register and create a project, use this link. And then after my registration, I can proceed. It's very important that when we create our AU login account, we have to use the same email address that we generally use and we used in the old platform. So after we have logged into our platform for the first time, we can change our login email address if we want. But if we have just created our login account, we can enter and we can start implementing our project. So we are here in our asset platform, and we have to go to eTwinning in order to open our twin space. First of all, we have to search and we have to find partner schools. So we have to use the partner search tool on eTwinning platform that is filtered by subject. So we can choose, for example, social science, or if we want to work in a project about languages or about civics or about arts, about science, we can select, and we have always consider the age group and then the country, and then we can post, for example, a message with our project idea, and we can invite to collaborate. We can invite other partners to collaborate in our project. So we can join the eTwinning groups forums if we want, in order to have more ideas and to share more ideas. And we generally can consider to join into eTwinning groups related to, in this case, the theme of democracy or citizenship. Again, we can reach out through Erasmus Plus contacts on local networks. So The second step could be the fact of search new partners or other partners. The first step, the third step is open the twin space. So once partners confirm they want to work with us, they want to work with the same number of students, the age, we have managed everything, we can create our twin space. So the secure online workshop for our projects. We can set permissions, so we can teachers and students from all schools in order to join, and then we can organize our twin space tabs, so welcome, forum, documents, activities, and even a gallery. So now we can create our project. So we can fill in the project title, we can decide just a little description, and then we can consider the theme. So we can choose citizenship, democracy, or other themes if we want. And then we can add other info like target age, direction, languages spoken that we have decided to use into the project, and then we can save our draft. Then we select our school, we select our partners, we proceed with a project description, with the pupils, as I said, with the subjects, with the key competencies, with the aims, a work process, and expected results, and at the end, a project talent day. How to involve students and teachers? It's very easy because each school appoints a teacher coordinator. We generally consider, for example, for each project, a teacher coordinator and a student group leaders if we want. And then we can use the forum for anachronisms, discussions, and updates. We can encourage students in order to create profiles with our photos, with some videos if we want. They can describe themselves, they can speak about their hobbies, they can personalize their own experience if they want. And then we can run kickoff online meeting using, for example, Teams, or using Jitsi, using Google Meet, or using Zoom, so we can decide in order to introduce partners and to discuss about the project goals. I have decided to put some suggested activities related to democracy, to European citizenship, and some of these activities are a mix of fun, they are very practical and very educational, because it's very important that all the activity has to have a mix of fun, practical, and education. So I have put some ideas that you can use in your eTwinning process if you want, that are related to democracy. For example, my democratic rights, it could be a quiz according to interactive quiz testing that we can realize, testing the knowledge of democracy and the rights, using, for example, some platform like Kahoot or Quizits. What is the outcome? Awareness of democratic rights. Or we can decide to create like a sort of virtual debate club in which students can debate about European citizenship topics, and they can work in groups, in teams, or each one. And for example, according to the tools or according to the platform, we can use the twin space forums, but we also can use, for example, Zoom meetings or Google Meet meetings or other platform. And what is the outcome? The critical thinking, that is very important, the soft skill that is very important for our students. Another activity could be, for example, the creation of a code of ethics. So in this activity, students can co-create like a digital classroom in which they co-create this code of ethics. They can use the twin space, of course, but they also can use other platforms like Google Docs and twin space document and everything. I have put some, but there are many ways, or there are many tools they can use. There are many platforms in which they can work. What is the outcome? The collaboration and the fact of understanding the rules and also the laws. So that is very important. Another activity, civic video challenge. And this word is very important for us, that the idea of challenge in which the students can produce like a short video on what democracy means to me, for example, or means to other my peer in the eTwinning platform. I can use Flipgrid, I can use Padlet, I can use the Twin Space Gallery, I can use other tools and other platforms. And the outcome is, of course, creativity and media skills. Another kind of activity could be the role play game, for example, Democracy in Action. in which we can create a simulation. We can simulate a town council voting on local issues, for example, and it is more about democracy in action. We can use Google Sites, we can use Zoom, but what is the outcome? The outcome is very important. The teamwork, because students can work together, and the decision making, so they can express the critical thinking about some values that are very important, like democracy. Another activity could be digital citizenship workshop, for example. We want to realize this digital citizenship workshop in which students can learn about safe and respectful online behavior, for example. So they can write, they can organize this workshop in which they speak about safe and respectful online behavior. They can use some external hubs, ICT, TwinSpace, Quiz, and of course, the outcome is the digital responsibility. Other activities, citizen journalist projects, for example, in which students can write new articles on democratic values, on current issues, or about, for example, some issues that they want to speak about using Google Docs, or creating a blog, or using a TwinSpace, or using other platform. And in this case, the outcome is the fact of writing skills and the civic engagement. Another very funny activity that I realized in one of my projects is emoji rights poster, and where students can design digital posters using emoticons, emotions, and to represent fundamental rights. So they can use Canva platform, or they can use Google Drawings or a Padlet in which they can create these digital posters. Of course, the outcome is the creative expressions, creativity, understanding the rights, but overall the creativity that is very fundamental. And then another activity could be, for example, a photo story, democracy around us, in which students can share photos representing democracy, but in daily life. They can create, for example, a Padlet or a TwinSpace gallery, and the outcome is a visual learning, cultural exchange, of course. So they can work sharing, overall sharing of photos. And then democracy pen pals, it is very interesting activities in which students can exchange digital letters, for example, and these digital letters are on civic life with students from the other countries, with the partner students countries, so they can use eTwinning mail, for example, or a Padlet, or they just can use the TwinSpace forum. And the outcome is cultural exchange, empathy, and communication. Another activity, build your ideal countries, in which students can create these groups. They can design their own countries with, for example, rights, laws, and systems of governance in Google Jamboard, and using slides and TwinSpace forum. And the outcome, again, is the critical thinking, understanding the governments. Digital democracy comic strips, for example, if they love comics, so students can create comic strips in order to illustrate, for example, a democratic value or a civic issue. They can do this into the Pixton platform, or using Canva or Book Creator. And the outcome is the visual storytelling and understanding about democracy. So using comics in order to understand our democracy. Very funny if we consider even the social. So they can create a civic TikTok challenge, for example. They can create your funny TikToks and videos promoting civic messages like voting, fairness, and go on. So TikTok, if it is all up to them, of course, and then Flipgrid if they can, or Padlet if they want to use Padlet. Creativity again as outcome. Another activity, track your digital footprint, for example, in which they can reflect on and they can visualize one's online activity and its long-term consequences. They can use Google Sheets, Canva, infographic. They can create an escape room, for example, European Union citizenship escape room, in which they can solve puzzles or unlock concepts concept of European citizenship. They can work into generally platform or using Google Forms, and the outcome is engagement, problem solving, and European Union awareness and democracy detective, in which students become detectives and they can solve mystery, for example, about cases where the democratic principles or rights have been broken, for example. So they gather clues, interviews witness, or present their finding to solve the case. And it's very interesting activity because they belong to some detectives and they have to solve something. So the critical thinking is the outcome, and it's very important because using critical thinking, they can understand democracy and they can understand rights and they can work in team. Online etiquette kits, for example, that is our role play good versus and against bad digital behavior in short recorded or live skits. And then democracy timeline quest, for example, if they want to create a visual timeline of important democratic events in European history, so they can learn about European history too. And then democracy meme battles or rights versus wrong game shows, or for example, they can build a nation simulator. So other activities in which students can create, can share memes, they can host a quiz show style, they can work in teams, they can create their own fictional countries, for example, in the last one, in order to build a nation simulator. So they can design, for example, or invent their own flag, or they can write a constitution. It's very difficult, or they can choose leaders, they can set laws, and then they can present it to the other teams of the other countries, and the other countries can vote, for example. Or Lover Hub, the mock trial, or democracy debate in soft, in which they can dance, but at the same time, they can realize this democracy debate in which students debate democracy topics through shorts, funny dances, moves, and they can move combined with arguments, and peers can vote on best combo, for example. Or the Great Democracy Bake Off, for example, in which students can design or actually bake a symbolic democracy cake, which we can consider, for example, that each ingredient can represent a democratic value. And in this case, they can use Canva, they can use Google Slides, they can use Flipgrid, they can work in Zoom platform. And the critical thinking and the creative thinking are the soft skills that they can reach, of course. Other activities, there are many activities that we can realize according to this topic. Citizen Superhero Challenge, I realized it with a group of my students. In which students can invent, for example, a role play, a superhero whose powers protect democratic values and civic duties, for example. So they can create comic strips like the activity that we have seen before on videos showcasing their heroes' adventures. Or another activity, parliamentary improv theater, for example, if they like theater. So they can work in small groups and they can improvise debates or law on silly topics, for example, should pizza be taxed, or other topics, in which they can practice democratic discussions and they can compromise in a playful way using Zoom, using Google Meet, using Canva, Flipgrid, or Padlet. And another activity, the rule of law rap battle, in which students can write and perform short, funny rap verses if they like rap, and about the rule of law, rights and responsibility. So again, they can share these ideas, and then they can vote, for example, for the best using Flipgrid, for recording, using Padlet, using Mentimeter, for voting, or using the Zoom platform or other platform. It's very important, the fact of schedule, all the meetings and all the planning activities. So if for example, I decide to open a twin space with many activities, as you have seen, but I have to schedule all the activities. So I have to consider, for example, during the first month, I can do these activities, this guy in this type, and I'll be responsible. Who will be responsible? The coordinator or all the partners. And then second month, for example, I want to realize that it's baked up, or I want to realize the code of ethics draft. So I have to schedule and I have to create this planning of activities. And then I can use some practical platform tips, as I said. So TwinSpace tabs like form, documents, activities, galleries, and messages. And I consider, for example, file formats like Google Docs or Slides for easy collaboration. And according to video, I can use Flipgrid or YouTube or Canva, as I said. And then some fun and creative tools in order to engage students like Kahoot, Flipgrid, Padlet. Even Miro is another platform, a Jamboard, or some quizzes, or a Canva, or a Jitsi, or a Zoom platform, Mentimeter. And I've created a Mentimeter for us too. And how to make it didactic, useful, and label ready. So we have to, and I've just said this, we have to try to embed curriculum links and project goals. And then we should show clear learning outcomes and students' involvement at step by step, each step. And then it's better if we collect evidence of work with screenshots, with videos and a forum post. And then another important point is the engagement of students in self and peer education, and then the sharing of final products in our TwinSpace, or in a project booklet, or in a website if we want. And then it's very important that we prepare a final report, and this final report has to be aligned with the twinning label criteria. So there are many things that we can do. And I've put an example of messages in order to invite some partners. For example, hello, I'm a teacher interested in starting in a twinning project. I have put this, so you can listen to it, that I've realized with Canva. Just one moment.
Hello, I am a teacher interested in starting an eTwinning project titled Democracy, Building Our Future Together. The project focuses on citizenship and democracy through fun and meaningful activities like debates, quizzes, and video challenges. We aim to involve 3 to 5 schools and 15 to 30 students each. Would you be interested in...
Okay, this is just an example in order to create, to realize this message, to invite our partners in our TwinSpace. So we can decide to put this message in a twinning platform in order to invite partners and to work with us in our project. I have realized even a Mentimeter that is that we can use. For example, what are your biggest challenges in teaching active citizenship? If you see the image, so it is a Mentimeter idea, you can create this word cloud activity both time, and you can see, I don't know if you have just used Mentimeter, what words come to mind when you think on active citizenship? I can put this just some seconds in order to write something. You just have to write 2 or 3 words according to what words come to mind when you think on active citizenship. It could be when exercise or when activity that we can realize in our eTwinning platform. Just one second. Okay. I stop sharing so we can see the results of this Mentimeter. Okay. So, collaboration, sharing, ease, social responsibility, debating, commitment, loyalty. Collaboration is the first word, so we can see the first words bigger than the others. Sharing is the second word, then zeal, debating, again participation. It is a very important word. I generally use this word in my projects. And then responsibility, social responsibility, again collaboration, and interviewing and participation and tolerance and respect. For example, if we want to realize a twin space, we want to open a twin space, and we want to realize some activities about democracy or about active citizenship, one of the first activity that we could realize is a Mentimeter. So we can ask to our partners, what words come to mind when you think on active citizenship? So we can share this information, and we can use this platform in order to know what are the most important words that they want to stress in the project. So starting from this activity, we can realize and we can implement some more activities, starting, for example, from the most important words. Collaboration and sharing, and then democracy. Okay. Another activity. I have realized, okay, I stopped the sharing.
Rosella, I am very sorry, but we are running out of time. So
okay, sorry.
I would appreciate if we move on to the closing of the webinar.
Okay, sorry. Okay, just one moment. I share just the Padlet, and then we can stop, and sorry again.
No worries.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is a Padlet that I have realized. Ideal European citizenship, for example, citizen adjectives. In this Padlet, for example, I can share the link of this Padlet, and all the partners can put their ideal European citizen adjectives. So using a photo or using the link that I can share, they can put in this Padlet what they really think about what is an ideal European citizenship. So that's all. Okay, I stop the sharing. Okay. That's all.
Wonderful. Okay. Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I'm just sharing your Padlet link in the chat now for everyone to see.
Thank you.
So wonderful. Yes. So thank you, Rosella. We've had enormous amount of positive conversation in the chat. Everyone is super, super impressed by the presentation, by your work. So you can be very, very happy and very, very proud, because it has been great, and everyone has been very happy with your expertise and what you are sharing. I had a few questions, but the one thing that we really need to know is, of course, the website. Where did you make these AI videos? Everybody wants to know.
About the videos. Well, the first or the second one, because we realized the first video during COVID. So in Italy, you know, the situation that we passed during COVID-19, and we continued our activities with, for example, according to Erasmus, we decided to go on and to realize some lessons with our partners. And I collected some videos and some sentences of our partners. And at the end, I decided to realize this video using Canva. So we realized this video using Canva, but thanks to the images and thanks to the sentences and thanks to the shared work that I realized with my partners in Erasmus projects, because we had many cooperation. We have been working with many partners in all over Europe, and according to the fact that it was a very serious and difficult situation, we decided to keep in contact using videos. We realized this video in Canva. And the second one in school, because the second video is video about our school, because the democracy and democracy together through eTwinning and through Erasmus is very important. So we decided to realize this video in the classes in my school, and you can see directly the walls in my school's classes about democracy that were painted by my students. So it's very important. And again, we collected videos and we collected photos that we realized at school. And then at the end, we used Canva in order to collect everything and to create this video.
Perfect. I think that will be very useful for everyone. Canva, everyone, go to Canva.
Yeah.
So lovely. I'm afraid we do not have more time for more questions. But I think everyone can find the slides online next week. And also the recording. So from there, I believe, Rosella, you also put in your email in one of the slides. So if they want, they can email you there with questions. So perfect. So thank you again, Rosella, for first accepting the invitation and of course for sharing your expertise. And before we close the session, I wanted to share a quick piece of practical information with everyone. First off, no certificates are awarded for the webinar. The survey can be found in the chat. We would really appreciate it if you fill this in so that we can improve our webinars for the next times and for next year. And also as a piece of our upcoming professional development offer. We have some courses and webinars and articles, so please visit the course catalog on the European School Education platform at your earliest convenience, not to miss out on anything exciting. And also, lastly, we want to make you aware of the eTwinning feature groups. They are virtual spaces for eTwinners to share resources, project ideas, celebrate achievements, and build meaningful connections with other eTwinners. So take a look at all of the feature groups or join the one specific for democratic citizenship. In there, you can continue today's conversation of the webinar if you wish and share resources and activities like Rosella did with us today. In the eTwinning webinars, Rosella, we have a custom to leave the floor to our speaker for a final word or advice or suggestion for our lovely participants here. So please, anything that you have to leave us with today.
Thank you. Very good.
Perfect. Well, thank you all for joining for this first webinar back after the summer. I wish you all a restful rest of your week, and we hope to see you again for our webinars in November on eTwinning schools. Rosella, thank you very, very much for being with us today.
Thank you too.
And
it's
to
a pleasure
everyone,
for me.
have a lovely rest of the evening. Thank you, everyone, and bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.